All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most common pieces of advice out there. A phrase that's so common it's almost become background noise. But what if there's a really powerful, practical logic hiding inside that most of us just kind of miss? Let's get into it.
You've definitely heard this before, right? It's thrown around like this fundamental rule for life. But if you really stop and think about it, it can feel a little empty. Maybe even kind of selfish. It sounds like a command, but what is it actually telling us to do? And that's the big question for this explainer. We're going to unpack the surprisingly logical and actionable idea that's buried in this simple phrase. You'll see it's not just some fluffy, feel-good sentiment, it's actually a roadmap, a sequence of actions. Okay, so let's start by digging into why this whole idea can feel so backward at first, because the logic here, it really can go against our most natural instinct.
I mean, it's a noble impulse, isn't it? When you see someone you care about, a friend, a family member, and they're struggling, your first reaction is to jump in, to put their needs first. And that's a beautiful thing. It's part of being human. But the idea we're exploring today suggests that this impulse, even though it's coming from a good place, might have the order of operations wrong. It's not saying don't help others, not at all. It's asking, are you helping them in the most effective way possible? And it suggests there's a prerequisite to doing that. So, if we have to start with ourselves, what does loving yourself actually mean in this whole framework? Let's build that foundation, because it's everything. And this is a super important distinction. We're not talking about vanity or being obsessed with yourself. The source is really clear on this. It frames self-love as the act of preparing yourself, of building yourself up so that you actually have the strength, the stability, and the wisdom to genuinely help somebody else. And this brings us to the next logical step. Because in this way of thinking, loving yourself isn't just a passive feeling. It's an active process. It actually demands that you do something. Okay, check this out. This is the core sequence right here. You can see how step 1, love yourself, isn't the finish line. It's the catalyst. It's what makes you do step 2, help yourself become better. Because you care about yourself, you do the work to improve yourself. And only then, once you've done that, can you really effectively move on to step 3.
So this connection is the whole game. It's the linchpin. That feeling of love for yourself provides the motivation to do the hard work of self-improvement, to become more stable, wiser, stronger. It's the why that powers the how. So what happens after all this internal work? Well, this is where that initial, seemingly selfish act completely flips on its head and turns into the most genuine kind of generosity. Let's just look at this comparison, because it says it all. On the left, you've got giving from emptiness. You're trying to help, but you're depleted. You're running on fumes. You're giving advice you haven't even really applied yourself. That just leads to burnout, and your help isn't all that effective anyway. But on the right, giving from fullness. Now you're helping from a strong foundation, guiding from real, lived experience. That's sustainable. That's meaningful. That's the stuff that can actually change someone's life. And this gets to the ultimate goal. The source is saying that true love for someone else isn't just about making them feel good in the moment, it's about helping them grow. This whole process we've been talking about, it's all designed to make you capable of doing exactly that.
So let's put all the pieces on the table. Let's bring it all together and see the true shape of this idea now that we've looked at all its parts.
There it is. The full statement. And now, it just clicks, doesn't it? The logic is so clear. You see how it all connects? That last part, because you should love yourself before loving others, isn't some separate rule. It's the foundation. It's the why for the entire sequence. Help them, sure. But first, help yourself. Why? Because you have to love yourself first. It all fits together perfectly.
So, if you're going to take anything away from this, let it be these 3 things. 1, this idea isn't selfish. It's sequential. It's about an order of operations. 2, real self-love is the fuel. It's what powers self-improvement. And 3, that self-improvement is exactly what gives you the ability to truly, effectively love and help others grow. And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. This isn't just some abstract idea. It's a practical strategy for your life. So I'll just leave you with this question. Who in your life, your partner, your kids, your friends, who could you love more effectively, more meaningfully, if you first gave yourself the gift of your own growth?